swear these other podcasts is just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. I swear these other podcasts is just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. Yeah.
Who doesn't love Kenny Shane, right? I love Kenny Shane. I feel like he doesn't get enough love. We don't shout him out enough on the podcast. That's the guy who's singing our intro song. He's got information. He's got some stuff out on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, and all that stuff.
Well, look at you with the plugs early.
I felt like I should just plug myself, plug everyone around me. It's a giving season.
I don't know how you plug yourself. Oh, I see now. I see how you're plugging yourself now. I see it.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. It's all below the table here.
Is that what the green thing was that you showed me before the show?
The electric green. Yeah.
It's electric.
It's a nice little magician act I pulled.
Does it vibrate?
Well, I like to leave, the mind's eye to figure that out.
Little room for the imagination?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We're getting too far towards, one side of thinking, and Tim does not get comfortable when we talk like that.
It's true. Well, who does, though, I have a question for you. If you could live in any sitcom, which one would it be?
If I could live in any sitcom, what would it be?
Yeah, Tim, you can come in on this, too, if you like.
It would have to be my real life forever.
Yeah, that would be your life, yeah.
I'd probably...
Not a vacation.
I'd probably go...
Permanent.
If I was going to go with something like safe, it'd probably be... That's how I think. I'd probably go with, according to Jim. Something...
Very benign and
Yeah.
It really is. It's an odd choice.
The milk toast of TV shows.
Wouldn't you at least want something funny for the rest of your life?
It's not Jim Belushi. John Belushi?
Jim Belushi.
That's Jim Belushi.
I always tell people I've watched far more college women's basketball than any man ever should. I also feel the same way about TBS and in particular, according to Jim, because that used to be on all the time, and I would just leave it on, just throughout the course of the day in college. All right, I'm not going to do anything. Let's watch TBS.
Something mindless.
According to Jim's on, awesome, and then American Dad's on, and then
My Wife and Kids.
Show.
Sure, I liked that show when that first came out.
Yep.
Grounded for Life was around that same era too.
Yeah, that's
very
right.
underrated.
John Ritter, right before he passed.
TBS.
No, that was 8 Simple Rules.
Oh, that's
Grounded
right.
for Life was Donald Logue, who's now on Gotham.
Okay. All right. I didn't see that one.
TBS used to have
Richard
Just Shoot
Riley.
Me on there, too, and I hadn't seen it growing up. That was an awesome show. I really enjoyed that one.
That was from the golden era of must-see TV on NBC.
Right, exactly.
Well,
Thursday night TV there. I think I would live, there's two choices. One would be, it's my favorite sitcom of all time, one of my favorite TV shows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
But that would be such a dark and dreary and dilapidated place to live in. It would be very depressing.
But you'd also be drunk all the time.
Right. So
you
that's
really
true.
wouldn't know.
And I would have Frank as a financier.
Right. Yes.
See, if I want
The Simpsons was a very close second because it's such a vast world. And to be in cartoon form, I already have a little bit of an overbite as it is, so I kind of feel like I would fit in.
You have too many fingers to be.
That's true. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
this is very true.
That's a good point. Welcome back. Episode 11 of the Change My Mind podcast. I am Wesley Sykes.
I am Nick Fryer.
Well, I was going to allow myself to introduce yourself.
I couldn't tell what you were doing. You left there was too long of a pause.
Well, I said, and across the table from me is, of course, I would say that you're the Stringer Bell to my Avon Barksdale.
Jesus.
That, of course, is Nick Fryer.
Get that reference.
I think no. I think you're the Ronda Rousey to my Becky Lynch. We can go with that.
Will you quit trying to sell people that you're a wrestling fan?
I'm a Becky. I'm
not.
I'm a Becky Lynch fan. She's freaking gorgeous. And that accent. Oh my God, an Irish accent. Australian accent.
I believe it's an Irish brogue.
I don't care. We're getting into semantics. British accent, number 3, and then everybody else, then the field.
Well, yeah, and that's a good list. Hopefully, you're following along with us on our live stream, which is on WBSM 1420 AM, which is through our Twitters right now. It's all out there. This week's episode will be dissecting the latest entry into the worlds of DC.
I think so, or DCEU.
The movie Shazam.
Yeah. Very excited to talk about this.
It's the 7th installment of the DCEU / Worlds of DC.
Oh, wow, it is 7.
And
I have my list prepared for you, too, because I knew you were going to ask me. I'm assuming that you have a list ranked.
I do. I sure do.
Look at you.
Rankings, it defines everything. I think in life. We all remember hotornot.com. Maybe that was after your time. I'm sure Nick or Tim, I should Nick, Tim remembers hotornot.com.
Yes.
What a horrible website. You
we were terrible people in the early 2000s.
Oh, I know. You've had to see the Social Network, right?
I think I've heard of hotornot.com. I think I was in middle school when that came out.
Yeah.
Was that high school for you?
Yeah, late, maybe like 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. But that was one of those websites
it all kind of blends together.
Not allowed to go on.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
because you're just basically rating women, which is like it's like what Tinder is now essentially.
It's the same friggin' thing.
Except you don't get the satisfaction at the end of it, or not. Like, there was no way to get in touch with those people. I think they were just random photos.
The internet was a very quick devolution from hot or not to chat roulette.
Right, exactly. Yes. I think that's a perfect segue into our first topic in the news and notes segment here. Avengers Endgame released yet another trailer.
Oh, thank God. I
believe it was on Good Morning America. I think that's what the teaser spot was.
That is correct.
So, Nick, Mike, we won't go into breaking down the trailer at this point because I feel like you can listen to a bunch of other podcasts and they could do that. And but with the available information so far, what is your best theory of how Avengers Endgame plays out?
Well, I don't think anybody's come up with this idea quite yet, Wes. But I think it'd be a great idea if they had Ant-Man shrink down, to a really tiny size, and then crawl up
I haven't
Thanos'
heard this
ass.
yet. Yeah, no.
And then just, boom, explode right inside, like grow up to full size, and then kill Thanos. I haven't heard anybody come up with that idea yet. No memes, nothing. If you guys want to use that for T-shirts.
Thought, huh?
Would that kill Ant-Man?
No, it wouldn't. That's the whole point. Maybe, if it does, then it's for the greater good. Either way, it's an idea, Tim, that's all over the friggin' internet. I can't take it anymore with it. Get out of my face with Ant-Man going up a guy's ass. I don't want to deal with that.
Thanos uses the Reality Stone, turns very small, does the same thing back to Ant-Man.
That's also not an original thought.
Well, no.
Yes.
But a spin zone.
You actually have a good original thought.
Yeah, this is a legitimate theory that I have. So I think the movie opens immediately after the Endgame credit, last credit scene there with Captain Marvel coming in. They get the pager. Captain Marvel comes in. They figure out who she is. They have that quick hello. I like this one from Thor. They have a little flirtation going on. And then they immediately go out to go and try and stop Thanos. They go out to Titan 2. On the way, they find Nebula and Iron Man. Mm-hmm. So they get that, all the existing members that are still alive are still there. They go there, they lose. And then they give up. 5 years happens because there's supposed to be like a 5-year gap, I think.
Something like that.
Between the Endgame or Infinity War and Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ant-Man comes out of the quantum realm. And then he figures everything out. And then once Ant-Man gets entered into the fold, then they can start going through the quantum realm and time traveling, and then they really picks up from there.
Yeah, he's definitely going to come in later on because you see how they've introduced him in the trailers, and he's seen all the signs like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he's all confused and everything. And then that kind of explains the hair thing with Black Widow, where she's all blonde, and then later on in the trailer, she's got the blonde tips with the red hair.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's just a theory there.
We don't need any more trailers. I mean, I'm not going to complain.
No, but I don't need it. We're so close.
Yeah. We get it. Like, it's going to be an awesome
But it's also a 3-hour movie. So even if they put out 45 trailers, there's still plenty of movie that you haven't seen.
I don't want to see. I know the whole thing is like the first half hour. That's all they're pulling from. But just, let us mess around in our own heads for a little bit. Like, we've seen enough. We get it. You guys are. I'm one for as much content as possible. But at the same time, it gets to be a little much where I don't want them to ruin the movie.
Well, yeah, and that was like actual scenes that they played out. That was like one whole scene it wasn't just a snippet here, snippet here, snippet here, and then you piece it together.
It was like an actual look.
Yeah,
they're going to show you the whole scene.
Yep.
Speaking of first looks, we got the first look of our Joker trailer. That's directed by Todd Phillips, I believe, starring Joaquin Phoenix. I believe that's an October 4th release date.
Wow. Keep going. You're on a roll.
Yeah. Does this make you excited or disappointed, or where do you kind of fall on that?
You mentioned how the concern of, are we seeing too much of the movie? Is it going to give away anything? And the difference between showing a teaser scene versus highlights from throughout the movie. And I think with Joker, there is some concern with that. I'm not among those, but that's something I kind of saw on Twitter when the trailer first came out. I'm very excited for this, and I was not originally, because it's like, why do we need a Joker origin story? I understand he does have some level of a backstory, But I just feel like it's.
But he really doesn't, though, right? I mean, no one really knows anything about him.
No, I think he does. I mean, he was the original Red Hood. That I know.
But okay.
But obviously a villain. But my concern is just that is I feel like an easy thing to screw up. And when I hear, first of all, when it was Jared Leto, it's like this is there's no way you're getting this right.
No, you get a little bit more leeway.
But I think Joaquin Phoenix is a superior actor. I'm not gonna.
Well, that's not even a question. Maybe it's more of a question.
I feel like we talked about this.
I feel like Jared Leto's kind of a joke. I don't know. It is like,
you are so funny, Wes.
No, I didn't even mean that. Like, I didn't even mean that as like a joke.
Oh, now
I feel like he's like
now he's just doing it on accident, Tim.
Yeah,
he didn't do that on purpose, right?
Genius.
He's had a few
no
roles.
one believes
genius. Well,
I've been pleasantly surprised by Jared Leto in a few films, but generally,
outside of Dallas Buyers Club, what else?
No, thank you. Go back to.
I didn't even see that.
45 Seconds to Mars.
I enjoyed that.
What was Panic Room? He was in that, right?
Yeah,
he was terrible in that.
Oh, was he? Oh, he was in Panic Room.
He was one of the guys that breaks in.
Oh, yeah, Jodie Foster. And a young Twilight lady. What's her name?
Kristen Stewart?
Kristen Stewart, yeah. She was the kid in that. Who looked like a butch boy in that movie.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Neither here nor there.
But either way, I'm excited for this. I think they're going to get it right. I think Joaquin Phoenix he will be committed to the role, and he will have that fine attention to detail where he makes it his own, but he still stays true to the character, unless Leto, who I just...
The trailer's making me think, though, that this Joker is not Batman's enemy, the Joker.
He may not be.
The same way that Venom wasn't Spider-Man's enemy, Venom.
That's a good comparison, actually. I like the Venom comparison to that, where it's like its own standalone thing. It's kind of operating adjacent to everything else.
Yes, I think that's the feeling that I get from the trailer.
Yeah, I like that.
I like
that a
that
lot.
they're taking kind of what seems like an artsy approach too. I don't mind that with the Joker because it is, tragedy and comedy. He talks about that,
right? Well, and that's supposed to be the life of a clown anyway.
Yes,
it's social commentary.
If you're familiar with a clown's prayer,
that's what it is. It's using
similar.
the character for social commentary.
Yeah.
Well, it's a vehicle.
How do you feel about it? Are you in on it?
Yeah, man, I'm going to watch it. I think I'm going to have tempered expectations like I would in most DC movies, but I'll be interested to see.
And we'll definitely do an episode on it.
Absolutely. Now, I'll probably go see it opening weekend. It looks good. I'm a big Joaquin Phoenix fan. I like Todd Phillips. Mm-hmm. He's here for the gangbang, if you've seen Old School.
Speaking of DC, more DC, Idris Elba, apparently not Deadshot anymore.
Right.
He is, there's now speculation about who he could possibly play. First character that comes to my mind with this reboot, you might have Margot Robbie in there a little bit or whatever, but if you're going to go and bring in a whole new Suicide Squad, give us Bronze Tiger.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so your homework is to watch, if you can, Hell to Pay. It is an animated DC film.
Hell to Pay,
and it has... it's Deadshot's still the main character in it, played by Christian Slater, which I didn't realize until I was looking it up today. And then Bronze Tiger, he's also in the Arrowverse, I believe, and he's fine there. But in the Hell to Pay, he's a total badass. He is voiced by, you watched Sons of Anarchy, right?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Tim, did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
I watched the first season.
Nah, you guys won't know who August Marks was, but trust me, the guy who's voicing him is an intimidating character in Sons of Anarchy, and I think his voice translated very well to the movie. And honestly, I never really cared for the character before. After watching that, and I think Elba can play that role very well.
Okay.
A little bit bigger too than Deadshot.
I'm a fan, Stringer Bell coming right back into it.
Do you have one for Alba who he could be? Do either of you have one? I'm assuming you didn't.
I don't know enough. No, I was just going to go with Deadshot.
Okay.
Just going to call it a day.
The other bit of news that we saw, and I know Tim was so excited when I told him this because he firmly believes the more Walking Dead content, the better. Apparently, we're going to have a...
Oh, whoa.
Come on now.
Easy with the mics there, rookie.
No, didn't we already touch on this a couple weeks ago that there's going to be like a
third one? No, because I don't think this is Rick Grimes related. There's going to be Rick Grimes movies, but it looks like there's going to be a third Walking Dead show.
That's awful.
So you have Fear the Walking Dead, which apparently has done pretty well.
Some people say it's superior to the original series now. I watched some of the first season. I wasn't impressed.
I wasn't either, but it definitely got better. I think I watched the second season, and I liked it more, but then I just fell off. I forget why. I think because there's just so many shows out there. At some point, it just gets to be too much. But you're going to have a third one? I'm already borderline on the Rick Grimes movies. I'm not buying into this. That being said, I may still watch the first episode because I'm more empathetic.
Any plot points on this? Or?
All I know is that it's supposed to be similar spinoff to Fear the Walking Dead, where it's happening somewhere else in the world. And
I'd like it if it was somewhere outside of the country.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, because I'm always curious. Like, I could see Canada and Mexico. Obviously Mexico, in some way, shape, or form, is going. I think it's involved with Fear the Walking Dead. But I'd love to see.
Well, not unless they build the wall. Well, and that solves a lot of problems.
This is true. I think that was mid-wall building.
Okay.
And I think, because I can't even make a joke. But I'd love to see what's going on in Europe
was that
or
your
Australia.
Attempt entirely the mid-wall? Was that?
I had something brewing, and then I was just like, no.
Okay.
Again, it was mid-wall, and then I stopped, whatever. But anyways, what were you going to say, Tim?
I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, so I'm not sure of all the plot points for that. But it's entirely possible that this is not going on anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious if they do a Europe.
Europe could be fine and Asia could be fine, and they're saying, let's just stay away from North America because they're screwed.
And then it's a social commentary on how North America has become this tragic wasteland of trash. Yes.
Right.
But anyways.
Right, yeah, no, that's good. That's a good point right there.
My comic minute of the week. Red Hood and the Outlaws 33 is out this week. Very much looking forward to this. They have a variant cover, and I'll tell you what, I know there are some people, I know I'm one of them, who like to get the ongoing cover, the main cover constantly, just a form of not solidarity. I can't think of the word.
Continuity.
Continuity. That's the exact word I was thinking of.
That's what I'm there for.
This variant cover is friggin' sick. It's Red Hood in his new outfit, and instead of his face and his mask, you have him with red eyes and a skull. Love it. Okay. I know it doesn't translate all that well to podcast.
It's kind of like an inverse Red Skull.
Kind of like an inverse Red Skull, yes.
Right?
Yes, yeah. See what you're going for, yes. Yeah. Batman Who Laughs 4. I mean, that series has just been nonstop awesome. I started Shattered Grid, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Good so far. I'm sure it's going to be awesome going forward. But like I've said before to you guys, it's definitely something worthwhile.
How is Trini in that?
Trini?
The Yellow Ranger?
She's fine.
She's in it. I just want to know, how is she?
She's fine so far, but I feel like it's a random character to ask about.
I think she's important. Plays an important role.
Is she?
Because I believe she's a saber-toothed tiger, and that is one of the key animals of the prehistoric era. And I think that's a nice thing to have.
That's a fair point,
yeah.
I guess. But anyways, my last thing was the comic book that we all need, because there aren't enough titles out there in the world. We need to have the Wonder Twins back. I haven't mentioned this at all yet, but we're on Wonder Twins 3, and Tim is a big Wonder Twins fan. Can you tell Wes a little bit about the Wonder Twins?
I didn't Zerbert the microphone that time, but I wanted to. But it would sound so much better if this mic was better.
It's fine. It's a lot better.
I think it comes across.
I think.
So the Wonder Twins were like, if we're going to make a cartoon about the Justice League, we have to have, as much as we're going to have all these awesome characters, we also need some crap to balance that out.
Sure, right.
And that led to the creation of the Wonder Twins, Zan and Zayna, who, through these magical rings that they would put together, could take the form of mostly inanimate objects. Mm-hmm. And they also had a monkey named Gleek.
Shape of a bucket of water.
So my only connection to this, as I talked to you guys off the air, was that there was a Family Guy cutaway where Peter wants to turn into someone's tampon, and then he sits in like the woman's purse in the tampon form, and then he says, "Now we play the waiting game." And that's the only thing that I could have.
That's a double layered reference, actually, because not only is it referencing the Wonder Twins, I think it's also referencing Prince Charles.
Oh,
who once famously said to Camilla Parker Bowles when he was having an affair with her, I want to be your tampon.
Oh, did he?
That was like what he wrote to her in like a love letter.
Wow.
Or a phone call or something. So,
the eloquence of our kings and queens in this world, huh? Prince.
There is definitely a time where Peter does pays homage to the Wonder Twins.
Or an homage too. It could be an homage.
I wanted to go with homage, but there are like 3 or 4 times where he's also like someone's glass eye. He also takes the form of a woman's chest at one point.
You can say breasts on the air.
Whatever. Yes, you can.
Say boobs.
Are you sure? Do you know?
No, I don't, but I think that's okay.
So who was the add-on character to the Super Friends that was actually kind of badass?
The add-on character?
Do you remember? There was one character that was not a comic book character as far as I know, but he was pretty awesome in the show.
I'm going to be honest, Tim, I couldn't watch this show because of the Wonder Twins. It would piss me off so much.
The Wonder Twins weren't in every season, though.
Was Gazoo on that show? Did
No,
he show up in that?
The Great Kazoo?
Yeah.
No, he was on the Flintstones.
No, I felt like and he was also on the Jetsons too, right?
I don't think he was on the Jetsons.
In the
I think it's just
crossovers, he was.
Oh, maybe.
I felt like he popped up somewhere random though, and I thought it was Super Friends.
Well, who's
But-
the
you might be
sidekick? Let's
thinking
just
of-
get to it.
You might be thinking of Mr. Mitzelplick, the way they portrayed him in the Super Friends.
Now I have no idea what's going on.
You don't know Mr. Mitzelplick?
We're not going to talk about Mr. Mitzelplick. Who were you
But
talking
you know
about?
who he is. He's one of the most famous Superman villains.
I'm not a Superman guy. No, I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway, Apache Chief. Like, his only power that he had was that he was a Native American who could grow really tall.
Don't act like you're interested.
He would just cross his arms and say,
that character.
Apache Chief. But, like, he always would end up saving everybody's ass. So,
That's what we waited for.
So he's an Indian Ant-Man.
yeah, well, Indian Giant Man.
Well, yeah.
Does Mr. Mitzelplick kind of look like the bad guy from Spawn? Why can't I think of his name? The
Clown?
Violator?
Well,
The
yeah,
clown-
the
yeah.
clown, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of one of the ways they portrayed him in Super Friends, yeah.
I've never seen him before. Anyways, Wes, what should we stay woke about this week?
Is that okay? Is that appropriate time? Are you guys done
I was trying to
reminiscing
get us
over
away from
comic
that
books
too.
here?
So sorry. Oh wow, it's 'cause we're talking about comic books. He's getting pissed.
Well, yeah, I don't really care about comic books. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, you wouldn't have any of this stuff to talk about. We'd be talking about the same old stupid
no,
movies
what we
over and
would
over
be
again.
talking about is kids knocking boots. And that's my topic. That's what I want the people to stay woke on this week. According to CNN, in an article that was released today, nearly 1 out of every 13 U.S. males report to having sex before the age of 13.
Well, of course they report it. If you asked me when I was 13, I would have reported it too.
Well, I'm just saying.
But it wasn't true.
It varies from major metropolitan areas. Like,
Nice.
for an example, San Francisco has only 5% of had sex before the age of 13, while Memphis had a shocking 25%. 25% of everyone, all males, had sex under the age of 13.
Really?
Yeah, lost their virginity before that. So my question to you folks
Families
is,
are closed down there, so.
Did you lose your virginity before turning 13?
I still haven't lost it. I'm saving myself for marriage.
That would explain a whole lot. That would explain a whole lot.
Here's my stay woke of the week. Have you heard of incels?
What is that?
You haven't heard of incels?
No.
No, we haven't heard of incels.
Involuntarily celibate.
Oh.
They're like all these like
So,
whack job guys that are like, they're saying some of the Charlottetown guys were incels. And
Oh,
there's like
okay.
all these people who like want to get laid and can't, and that frustration is building up, and they're taking that out by going and attacking other people.
So it's most of the Republican Party.
Yes, but
Jeez.
but I was 18,
Yeah, I was 16 and a half
and even
after
like
a Kanye West concert.
I still wish I had waited even longer than I
You're
did.
So
Did you really
lame.
wish you waited? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the right person.
Well, no, I don't. I rarely think it is.
I don't
think
think it ever is the right
it
person.
meant nothing to me. All I wanted was to just get that out of the way.
See, I wasn't expecting it. It just happened.
That was a moment in life, like a mountain that I had to get over. I said, okay, I'm a junior in high school. I'm 2 years away from college. That this is going to have to happen for me.
But if you asked me at 18, I would have told you I was 13 when I lost my virginity.
well, maybe. Who knows?
You gotta be a psycho to lose your virginity at 13. That's
It's
insane.
CNN. No, but this is what's going. It's the exposure
I'll tell
to
you stories
everything.
off the
There's
show.
like there is
Ooh.
the desensitization of America. You know, people say they aren't scared about violence because of video games and what they see on the news and all this other stuff. It's the same thing. Like when we were 13 years old, like I didn't have access to the internet. I couldn't type in Pornhub or Brazzers or any of that stuff. You know, you had dial-up internet. Like you had to hope for like a magazine or something like that. Like it just wasn't as easily accessible.
The best
The
was
scattered
the best
black
was finding
box.
the porn in the woods.
Oh,
Like every kid that I
Yeah.
know somehow mysteriously found a cache of porn in the woods.
What?
Yeah, it's a
I
it's
feel
a,
like
it was
that
a
makes
thing.
sense. I
It
feel
was
like
a
I've
thing.
come across a porn stash in the woods before.
In the woods?
Yeah.
I can get it with Tim because he's from Wareham, but I don't understand with you.
Well, I grew up in Bourne. Yeah, I went to school down in Dartmouth and in New Bedford.
Basically, what would happen is it would be somebody
Okay.
else's stash that they would hide in the woods, another kid's stash, and then another kid would find it and then move it to somewhere else. And
And then get passed down to the different grades. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm a senior. I pass this down to you, freshman. Take care of this. Don't mind the pages that stick together.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly what I want to do is use some other guy's porn collection that's all stuck together. That's exactly what I need.
Well, you know, that's a
you
friend in
took
need.
what you could get
You know,
back
you help.
then.
Yeah.
I didn't have to deal with that. I mean, I didn't have the access that you have now, but I didn't have.
Well,
the
when did you
issues guys-
graduate high school? Like,
2010.
yeah, so the internet
So
was
he-
up and running
he-
around then.
Yeah.
he will never know the pain of having to take your dad's porno, watch it, and then rewind it on the counter back on the VCR back to the point where it was when you
and
put
make
it on
sure
the
it's
VCR.
under the third pair of blue jeans is folded in
Yes.
the shelf, right? And make sure that there's not folded just right. Yeah. That's
No,
life.
yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
not speaking from experience or anything. That's definitely not what happened.
Yeah, I thought you made that up. Oh, did that really happen, Wes?
Yeah, everything I say always happens 100% of the time.
Wow, really? So we already know how Endgame's going to end then?
Yeah, exactly. Well, how
Jeez.
it's going to start.
How it's... Oh, that's a fair point. Yes, you
Yeah.
didn't say how it was going to end.
What do you say? You got anything else you wanted to add?
No, nothing till our 2v1 and our what else is on our mind. I'm ready to talk about Shazam.
All right, yeah, we're about 25 minutes in now. I like that number. Shazam. We all have a superhero inside us. It just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In Billy Batson's case, by shooting out one word,
Shazam!
the streetwise 14-year-old foster kid can turn into the grown-up superhero Shazam. David S. Sandberg directed the 7th installment of this DC Universe series, starring Zachary Levi as
Shazam!
Mark Strong as Dr. Thad Savannah, Asher Angel as Billy Batson, a.k.a.
Shazam!
Jack Dylan Grazer, a.k.a. Very underrated first baseman for the Atlanta Braves.
Freddie Freeman.
Nice. And I'm going to butcher this name, Jamon Honsu,
Jamal Hansel.
who's the wizard.
Oh, yeah. He's also in Aquaman.
Yeah, he's in a whole bunch of stuff.
Guardians of
Yeah.
the Galaxy and Captain Marvel.
Now, this movie is being rated 92%, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, audience and viewer score there, or critic score. Number one in the box office this week with $53 million. He's got a 7.8 out of 10 on the IMDb. And so $53 million, this is kind of what it's putting on a scale here. So Captain Marvel raked in $153 million in its first week. So $100 million more. Aquaman, the most recent DC release, made $67.8 million on its opening release.
Wow.
And converse, Spider-Verse wasn't that pumped up. Made $35.3 million. Do you want to take a stab at what Infinity War was opening weekend? And just U.S.
Infinity War opening weekend. I feel like I've seen this before.
Sure.
I should know off
You
the top
probably
of my
have,
head.
yeah.
But if Captain Marvel made 153, I'm going to say Infinity War made 223.
Not bad. 257.6. Yeah. So, yeah, this is in line to make $1 billion right around going off of Aquaman's success. Right? So
Never would have thought that. For
Aquaman
Shazam.
made $67.8 million. I would never guess that either.
That's the thing. Like the first point that I want to bring up before we get into the actual movie. This is a character that I remember seeing. I can't remember if it was some event that happened in DC. My brother actually had the comic growing up, and I can't remember what it was. But I remember seeing Shazam on the cover, and I was like, well, this guy looks really friggin' stupid. And then I find out later his name's Captain Marvel. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and then you're kind of thrown for a loop.
He's a DC character, but his name's Captain Marvel. And then there's Miss Marvel, and now there's another Captain Marvel. What are we doing here? Who thought that was a good idea? You try like when that happened years ago. Were you trying to mess with Marvel? Was that the whole
Maybe
point
that's
in
what
it?
they were trying to do. Yeah,
I don't.
I can't.
I thought
get
he
into the
came
mind.
out. I thought the character originally came out before there was a Marvel comics.
I don't. Yeah, that one I wasn't entirely certain on. I thought that he was after the fact. I'll have to double check that. But go ahead, Wes. You were saying.
Well, yeah, I just think part of this movie has to deal with expectations, right? This came in was almost a laughingstock when like set photos came out and you saw the suit and you're like, who's Zachary Levi? Like, why should he be a superhero? This looks so stupid. You have this childhood thing. And no one really knew much about Shazam. Unlike BVS, unlike Suicide Squad, unlike Justice League, where everyone has such a high anticipation of these films because these are characters that are so integral to that superhero universe when you grow up as a kid. Shazam didn't really have that, so it's kind of like how I like to live my life. You set the bar low, it's easy to exceed those expectations.
Tim was right. That Shazam came out in 1939, and Marvel was technically formed in 61.
Yeah, it wasn't Marvel until the 60s.
Yeah, 61. They were Timely Comics in 39. But and he was brought into DC in 72. But there was a gap where he was originally a Fawcett Comics character. I'd never heard of that before. From 39 to 53, then DC brought him back in 72. And you look at him now, DC has brought him back in the comics. He's on, like, what, issue 4, I think, was the last one that came out. There was a time where there weren't any Shazam comics because he wasn't that interesting of a character. But
well, you're going to see that like Iron Man. Iron Man wasn't a very popular character until the movie came out, and then they pretty much remolded and rebranded the comic after Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark.
And I honestly would have normally no interest in reading Shazam, but then when I see the movie come out and I see the trailers for it, and Zachary Levi looks like he's having a ton of fun, it's like, you know what? I can get into this.
Okay.
I can give it a shot. And I've been reading. I think I'm a couple issues behind. There's just so much out there to read right now. But the comics have been fun so far, I would say.
I don't remember that being the tone of the original Shazam comics.
That he was fun. I mean, you look at him right here.
It wasn't a lot of fun as much as it was just like, you know, he was the.
Well, he has powers from all the Greek gods, the Roman gods, or whatever they are.
Yes.
That's the first image that I see.
Right.
So if you guys if you go to like search
the
Shazam on
Wikipedia and
Wikipedia,
stuff, yeah.
that's the first image I ever saw of Shazam. It's like I see this guy. And it's, what are we doing?
Yeah,
who is this hardo?
Yeah, he's a serious guy who just happens to have the, you know, an alter ego of being a small boy.
Exactly.
Small boy.
We're still talking about Shazam, right?
Such a weird choice of words.
In retrospect, it's probably
he is
not
a big
the
Michael
best
Jackson
pairing.
fan.
It's a what?
It's probably not the best pairing in 2019.
Right.
It worked in 1940, but not so much now.
Well, I thought it worked today. This brings me into my first question. Did you like it?
I did. Very
Yes.
much so. Did you like it?
Absolutely. Loved it. Fun time.
Absolutely.
Again, didn't have high expectations. I was cautiously optimistic. And I came in having a great time despite picking the wrong theater. You know, we went to the one in the Kingston Mall due to time showings. We didn't go to the one in Wareham, which I would prefer.
Kingston Mall's a decent theater.
Yeah, but they don't have the reclining seats, and that's become
saw
a
you tweet about
staple.
that.
A staple for me. A must-have. Or maybe it was
None
just
of the theaters do. Or?
maybe just the theater that I have. I thought I remembered it having reclining seats in there, but not the theater that I saw it in. So I was very disappointed with that. Maybe that's only for like the 3D stuff.
I'll tell you what, when I go in and my chair doesn't recline like how I want it to,
It rocked.
It
But
definitely
I'm still
agitates
like at a
me.
90-degree L shape.
I went to the one in Fall River,
Sure.
and I usually go to AMC in Dartmouth, but now I live right near the Fall River one.
yeah.
So my dad and I went, and I every time I go there, I always forget I don't recline as far back in that seat, and it's like, ugh, what the hell are we doing? But at the same time, I'm much less inclined to fall asleep. You get me too comfortable, and
Right.
it doesn't matter how entertaining the thing is that I'm watching, I'll doze off for a second.
Yeah, but I think, getting back to the, moving away from the movie experience,
Okay.
which I think is great.
I'm just following your lead.
Yeah, no, exactly. We got to transition sometimes. I think the scenery, it was kind of like a brooding scenery that kind of lived up to most of what the DCEU movies kind of dark.
But they didn't let that dictate the tone of the movie. That's very important.
And they contrasted it nicely with the humor and that kind of youthful undertones to it all.
And it really played well to Asher. Is it Asher Angel? Is that what?
Asher Angel, yes.
Asher Angel really played well to his role in the course of the whole movie because that kid had a lot going on, and we actually haven't really spoiled anything yet.
No.
But keep in mind, if you're new to our show, we spoil. It's just
that's it. It's out there, man.
When we start talking about the movie or whatever show we're gonna review, it's all spoilers. We don't mess around with it. But anyways, I think it played well to his character. Whereas when Zachary Levi was on screen, as much as there were some moments where it was like it got serious, by and large he was just having fun. Like, he's like, oh my god, I got superpowers. This is freaking awesome. Like with Asher Angel, it was always like serious, down to business. I want to find my mom.
Right.
Get the hell away from me. I don't want any new friends.
But it was almost like an escape for him.
Exactly, it was.
Right.
But I think that the scenery played more. And what's funny is you see the kid come out more, I feel like, in daytime, whereas at night, then we see Zachary Levi, he's going.
Right.
I know there was a mix, but it felt like.
At least in the early goings.
The setting was contrasting to which character we were seeing.
Right.
So I just thought that was a little interesting.
And there's a lot of meta stuff going on in there, too, which I really enjoy. It's kind of poking fun of itself. It's knowing that it's a cheesy film, and it comes off with some cheesy lines. And it doesn't take itself too serious. And then, you get in with all the stuff with, the little subtle jabs, which I'll get into a little later on, to the other DCEU universe members. And really just, farts all over them.
Yeah, I think
I think he really puts Batman and Superman to shame. Well, more so Batman than Superman.
I'd say craps all over him, but that's just me. You can say farts all you want.
But I didn't want what I really wanted to say. I couldn't say it because we're inside.
Is that the Deadpool effect, though?
What's that?
The wanting to kind of take digs at other heroes. Is that?
I think it drew off some Deadpool parallels.
There's two movies that have basically decided what every other superhero movie either will be or should be.
Okay.
Deadpool,
Dark Knight.
No, Logan.
Okay.
Which is like polar opposites, and then wherever on the spectrum someone else kind of falls, right?
I mean, both are rated in the sense that
I feel like the Dark Knight kind of dictated
far.
a lot of things too. I feel like Dark Knight dictated a lot of things. I feel like
I feel like Logan is basically the Dark Knight version of the X-Men.
That's fair.
So
I
can't have Logan without the Dark Knight.
One thing that I have a tough time with when we're talking about these kind of movies, like a Shazam versus an Avengers or Endgame. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Infinity War. Obviously, it's huge. All this buildup. And Endgame is going to be similar. I really appreciate the solo movies. Mm-hmm. The origin story sometimes can get a little annoying when they go too far. But that's why I appreciated Captain Marvel, because I felt like they did it differently. They at least presented it differently.
They jumped around.
And Shazam was very different just because we're dealing with a kid. And there's just so much else going on. And it's just like, that's what I would be like if I was a kid and I got these superpowers. But I much prefer a solo superhero movie. You can have a couple other characters mixed in, but I definitely prefer a solo. Like, my favorite ones are, Logan, Winter Soldier. I know it's Cap, Winter Soldier, Falcon, but I mean, it's really focused on those two guys.
Widow, yeah.
Deadpool, yep. But in Deadpool is another one that's one of my favorites. It's just a little random thing just that I appreciate. But anyways, back to Shazam.
Just not to interrupt, but do you think that the Marvel Universe would have been better off if they introduced all these characters individually and waited longer before they became
DC?
the X-Men?
Oh.
No, I'm saying, like, because the Marvel blueprint is the way that they want to do it, where we say, okay, we're going to give you one or two solo movies to start it off, then we're going to start teaming them up, then we'll give you, like, their origin stories separately, but you still have this overarching storyline, too.
See, the X-Men are the X-Men. Honestly, I know the Avengers are on a different level from everybody else, but I feel like you should just start with what you have for the X-Men. Maybe you start introducing other characters.
I'm talking about for Marvel, for the Avengers.
I don't even know where to begin with that.
Like, should they have just done a Captain America movie, a Thor movie, a Hulk movie?
They did.
And done no, they started weaving in, like, so you already knew about the Avengers before you got the Black Panther movie.
That's what you mean,
right?
So I'm saying, like,
but they introduced him prior in Civil War before getting his own standalone movie.
But I'm saying, should they have all had standalone movies first before?
No,
they came together?
I think Marvel did it right.
Some
DC did it wrong.
Some characters
forced it too quickly.
Yeah, that's why I've been saying for a while now. If you're gonna reboot the DCEU and you want to start from scratch, you do it through the Bat family, 100%, because then you can branch off and bring other characters in. You could have Dick Grayson start the Teen Titans, start him out as Nightwing right away. Don't even have him as Robin. Start with Tim Drake as your Robin if you want.
You can always go back and tell the story of how he used to be Robin.
Exactly, and you can weave in people in and out. I mean, they're all connected to everybody else in DC, and that's how you would bring them in.
Can we talk about Shazam?
What's Shazam?
Yeah, no, because I feel like you guys forget sometimes.
That's what you're here for, Wes.
Well, I think I'm not a babysitter. I don't have to hold your hands.
No, by all means, you're steering the ship.
What are the best moments?
The best moments. Well, you know what was a really heavy moment, and it just was like I wanted to yell at the screen. Was the moment with Billy's mom.
I ask you what your best moments are, and your first one is.
That's just one that really stands out to me.
That's the worst moment.
It is the worst moment. The best moment's the fight at the end. Like,
well, no, I would say testing out all the powers when he's at the 7-Eleven. For me personally, when he's at like the 7-Eleven convenience store and he's like, shoot me in the face, all that stuff. That's great. And then the YouTube videos when he's like just going out there and trying everything out. Like, that's what every kid would do.
Yeah. It was funny.
Yeah.
I personally, I like when you get everybody at the end. It's like, oh my God, we all got the powers now. Let's kick some ass.
Right. And you got Billy Batson jumping from the top of the roof, getting struck by lightning as he goes into Shazam for that final fight scene. Like, that was pretty awesome.
How about what's the doctor's name again?
Thad Savannah.
Savannah, thank you. When Savannah and him are going at it, and they're Savannah's chasing Shazam at the end, and he starts monologuing, and they're like,
and you can't hear him? Yeah.
He's like,
that's funny.
Are you monologuing? Because I can't hear you.
Right.
We're like a mile away from each other. Oh my God, I laughed out loud at that moment.
Yeah, because that was good. Because like you see that so often. and you just assume they're so far away, but you have such a tight shot on their face that you, the audience member, can hear it. But then it's like you never really think of the spatial thing between. I love that.
But the thing with the mom moment, Wes, is that stands out so much because it was an important part of the movie, but it wasn't like it didn't overwhelm things. I didn't feel like they hammered it with us. And it was gut wrenching.
Yeah, that was awful.
But that's so much more powerful because the rest of the movie is all lighthearted and joking around.
I might go on a limb and say that the mother was the best villain of them all.
Wow, that's a good take.
And I love Mark Strong, like as an actor. I thought he was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved him in the Kingsman movies.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, those Kingsman, those are good flicks.
I've heard. Yeah.
But he has in the second one, he has this great like monologue where he starts singing "Take Me Home, Country Road," and then he steps on a landmine and takes one for the team. Like it's amazing.
Okay, so when he kills his dad and his brother, when he kills his brother, it's his outlook not so good.
Yeah,
laugh out loud moment for me.
Yeah, it's great.
That the whole family. They all suck. All three of those guys were absolutely brutal. Like the acting job was fine.
No, yeah, but they're like horrible.
When he was a kid,
roles.
With all like the whiny nature of that little brat Thad, he was awful. And then his older
brother's just a smug prick. Like,
what kind of older brother? Like I was a dink for a while to my little brother, but never anything like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Jesus.
And like
the dad
and the older son had like some little bromance going. He's like shooting each other looks like at every like rib that he's giving out.
What the hell? What the hell was that?
And what's the aging process on the father? Right?
Oh yeah.
Like that was something else.
Yeah. A few gray hairs and that's it.
I don't like the starting with Savannah's background. Like I thought the movie dragged in the beginning for the most part.
When I saw that on the screen, I was like, what are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
Come on. I was excited for this, and now we're going to start here in 1973? What are we doing?
Yeah, so, and that kind of like took me out of it for a minute, but once it got going, like I was fully into it.
You know what? Where else are you going to integrate that in, though, Wes? When you think about it,
I know you got to. It
was the right move.
Point.
It was the right move. It was important to the plot. So as much as it sucked, you had to go with it.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, just getting back to the shots at the DCEU, with the Batman, Superman, you got the Batman doll getting thrown at when they're in the toy store right before you get your big reference with the big floor piano. So that's nice. So like he's throwing all the bat stuff at him and doesn't do anything. And then you get the two action figures getting smashed together, and then they get tossed to the ground, saying, "Hey, forget about these two guys. I'm here now." Like I kind of liked that. And there was, I had one other one in there that
I got a couple.
Yeah.
While you're thinking about that, Freddy, the first time we see him, he's wearing an Aquaman shirt. I think he had two Aquaman shirts.
Did he really?
I can't remember what the second one said, but it had some lettering on it. It wasn't like a property of, but it was along those lines. It looked like like property of Atlantis or whatever. Sick shirt. And then I was really impressed by this one, and I feel like it flew under the radar. He also had a Wonder Woman shirt.
Oh.
And for a long time, not for a long time, since Wonder Woman came out, like I bought my mom a Wonder Woman shirt because I just want to spread the love to everybody. Well, yeah, she loves it. She loves Wonder Woman, loves Captain Marvel too. But when like that all first started, I was like, wow, Wonder Woman's awesome. It's like, could I pull off a Wonder Woman shirt? Like, is that can a guy pull that off?
Sure, why not?
Freddy did it.
Yeah.
Freddy's the man. Like if I was a kid,
it's all about confidence, man. You can rock whatever you want. It's 2019.
Well, I also can rock a Magneto helmet. Let's be real.
To your wrestling point, there's guys that love Becky Lynch that are wearing Becky Lynch shirts.
Oh yeah,
I think you can get away with doing the same thing if you like Wonder Woman.
He had a sick Wonder Woman shirt too. And honestly, if I would totally be friends with Freddy. I mean, I think we all would at this point.
Yeah,
based on what we like.
Freddy would be the man. Freddy would be the man. Absolutely. So I found Billy says at the end, right? So right when he's walking away, I think he's at the fair. He says, if a superhero can't save his or her family, then what kind of superhero are they?
Oh, yeah.
A huge shot at Batman.
Yep.
Right? And even
and
Superman.
Yep.
Martha's taking big L's left and right.
Kind of, in a way, Wonder Woman, too, because she doesn't save Steve Trevor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be tough when they get into the halls of justice.
It wouldn't be Aquaman, because Aquaman's mom and dad are still doing all right. Spoiler.
Okay. Spoiler, yeah. That's good to know. That's good to know. What didn't you like?
What didn't I like? Well, the beginning, I think, was the big thing that stood out to me. That really slowed things down. I just felt like the Seven Deadly... Okay, actually, Here's a little thing that normally I don't notice this stuff, and normally I'm like, it's fine, whatever. Mary, right, was the oldest sister. I believe it was Mary. So in the course of the battle with the 7 deadly sins, before they've transformed into the other champions, they're trying to run away from him or whatever. He's in Shazam form, and she makes reference to the 7 deadly sins, or the 7 sins. Like he has all the sins in his eye. Once he can get them all out, then he's vulnerable.
Right.
Where did they mention the 7 deadly sins to her? I don't remember her ever hearing that being mentioned.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's bad writing. You got whoever's editing that, or whoever's writing that, you got to know that she hasn't heard that yet. And she doesn't need to, does she really need to say that? You could just say he has those monsters in his eye. Like, I don't care if she's 18 years old. She doesn't know what the frig those things are. They're monsters as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So that was just a little nitpicky thing. I never noticed stuff like that.
No,
but that jumped out to me.
I thought the 7 deadly sins were pretty lame. I was like, it didn't really do it for me.
They didn't look crazy good, but I mean, they served a purpose. And but seriously, Wes, I gave this movie. Do you want to get into percentages right now? Is that all right?
Yeah, we could do that. So
I give it an 87%. It is my #1 DCEU Worlds of DC movie. I'm telling you honestly, like I feel like 3%, maybe 5% was that line that really pissed me off. I don't know why.
Really, just that single line, huh?
I'm petty sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds like I give it a solid 85 out of 100, and I thought that was fine.
Your #1 DC movie?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Worlds of DC.
Yeah, without question. My one last thing, though, on worst moments, the Black Adam throwaway origin story. Now, I'll do a little digging on this, but during the Council of Eternity, when the Wizard is kind of telling the history about how he didn't want to give up any of his powers until he found the worthy champion,
right?
He gives it to one person early on, right? They give him all the powers, and then he uses it for revenge, and that releases the sins, and that one person's Black Adam.
I thought so. Yeah, it looked like The Rock.
Yeah. But they don't really show his face or anything like that.
A little bit.
But yeah, so he's in that. But it's really like a throwaway line. Like it's not heavily in there. And he was supposed to be the follow up.
If you're like a fan of these movies, you know The Rock's been rumored to be involved. You know that he could be there. So when you see that character, I mean, I knew right away when I saw it. I was like, that looks like The Rock.
See, I didn't pick up on that at all.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, then there you go.
I had to go back and like look up stuff on YouTube about it afterwards, because it was the same thing about the caterpillar.
Oh, right. What's his name again?
Mr. Madness, or
I knew he was.
Something. I knew
he was a villain of Shazam's, because I actually saw him in the new Shazam stuff, but I didn't know. Like this is a character that most of us didn't know anything about, because he's never been one that really grabbed headlines or really drew much attention. I think now the way they've redone the character, though, it's a fun movie. It really is.
It's a great time.
And the reason that it's like an 87 is just I feel like because something that's so lighthearted, I can't really put it into that 90s range. And I feel like the way the 7 deadly sins are done, that writing faux pas, and I'm sure there are a couple other nitpicky things. The beginning I felt was slow. I feel like all that kind of culminates into why I take 13% off out of 100.
Okay, odds and ends here. Asher Angel looks like the male version of Arya Stark. That threw me off from the very beginning, and it kind of took me out of the whole movie. That's what I thought. Number 2, where does this fit in the DCEU? It's in Philadelphia. You get the Superman cameo. Mm-hmm. You have all the Batman references and all the references to everything else in there, but I'm not really sure how it fits in.
They left it so it doesn't have to fit in. I feel like.
Yeah, and I think that's nice, and it's kind of
very good.
Yeah, job. Innocuous. No, what's the word I'm looking for?
Independent.
Not independent. No, but I don't know. It's.
I can't think
both.
of the word.
It's
this is your job.
Yeah. Well, you're a writer too.
Barely.
Who wins in a fight, Superman or Shazam? Shazam doesn't really seem to have any weaknesses other than being a 14-year-old boy.
I would say right now, yeah, but if he gets a guy who's strong enough, then he can kick his ass. We saw it with Savannah.
Yeah, but he's 14 years old. He just got his powers.
Well, I think
so. A porn stash in the woods would probably be what you need to.
That's a tie back.
Every 14-year-old boy's weakness.
That's true.
Probably Shazam, but if you go to like Injustice, Superman killed Shazam too.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, there's that. So I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably go Superman. I'd never really go against Superman.
Yeah, that's a tough one to pick.
Who do you pick?
I don't know. I like Shazam more than I like Superman at this point.
I do too.
I would go with Shazam.
Because there's some level of flaws to the character.
Right.
The foster parents, real quick, before
Awesome.
you keep going. Love the foster parents.
Great.
The stepdad, Tim, I don't know if you knew he was in this movie, is, what's his name from friggin' Walking Dead? The King Ezekiel's right-hand man. You know, the big dude?
Jerry.
Jerry is their foster parent. Anyways, Wes, back to what you're listing off.
What I got last on here is how much does DC hate the fact that Shazam is getting so much love for being the most MCU-like DC movie?
If they're smart, they're loving it.
No, that's such a backhanded compliment.
I think
Like, we love your movie because it goes against everything else that you've put together.
well,
But haven't they recently been saying that, like,
Yeah.
they just need to just accept that and follow the same formula?
That's just such a bad like.
you know what, Wes?
compliment.
But it's like we made a change and it worked. Like we're taking a character that people don't give a damn about. Like
Right. No,
until this movie
I
came
get
out, I
it.
didn't care about Shazam. If
I
you
get
never
that,
made a Shazam
but
movie, it
you're
would have
just
been fine.
There's an
following the
older-
Marvel, like your competitor's blueprint.
There's an older generation that were
What?
huge fans of Captain Marvel.
I mean, dude, freaking Deadpool is a blueprint of Ambush Bug, right? Isn't that the whole thing in Deathstroke?
No, but I mean in the movies.
I know, but I'm saying like some of the best ideas that we see in anything in life are ideas that are stolen from elsewhere.
Yeah. I guess that is the American dream.
It's just I think
is
it's how it
kinda
works.
lame.
I heard somebody talking about some band from Canada that's inspired a ton of groups. I feel like Motley Crue is one of them, but there's this band in Canada who has a particular sound, and they've inspired like 7 different groups that went on to have more success. No, it's a band you've never heard of, and I can't remember the story. They have like this their own documentary, but the point is they inspired other groups who went on and made it their own thing.
Red Rider?
But I don't.
I wouldn't know if you told
I
me,
don't
Tim.
feel like this is like
This
taking an
stuff
idea
happens.
and making it better. I still don't think Shazam, if it was put in the MCU, is better than the top 10 Marvel movies out there. I think it's just
No, it's
taking
not.
the same template and saying like, okay, I guess we'll do another cookie cutter movie because we know this is what people like.
But
They didn't do it better. Like, it's not taking an idea and making it better.
See,
like,
but-
it's just following in the footprints because
And
they've
does it-
been
But you took a character that-
folded into submission.
You took a character no one gives a damn about, and you did a
They
good
did
job.
a good job. Yeah,
That's the
It's
thing,
just a
Wes.
backhanded
But do you
compliment,
see it as
though.
something
It is-
that they can now do going forward?
Right.
Like, have they found a way? Have they found a formula? Or
Well,
did they
that
just happen to
remains
get
be
lucky
seen.
with this?
You've had success with Aquaman. You're going to have now. Like in terms
Marginal, not the same success this has been.
in terms of money, it was successful.
Sure.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it had a better opening weekend. You took Aquaman, the worst character in all of comics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attribute some of that, and I haven't seen the movie, but I'm gonna attribute some of that to women and Momoa.
Sure, of course you attribute a
He's a
ton of
hunk.
that to Momoa. Momoa's the guy. Right, Momoa's like the guy right now who you just put him in a movie and people are going to want to go see it. He's
I
not. He's
wouldn't
not.
say
He's
that.
not,
Me,
the,
but-
he's not the Rock, but like he's in that.
How many
like,
other movies has he been in?
I don't know, but I'm saying
Not many.
Well,
That's
he's
the
going to capitalize on it. But ever since he became Khal Drago, he was on Frontier, and I mean, everybody and their mother has told me, "Oh, Nick, you got to watch Frontier. If you like Momoa, you got to watch Frontier."
Is that a Netflix show?
Yes, it's a Netflix show, Wes.
Nah.
People know not to recommend you stuff because you're a snob. That's what
Who
it is.
says that?
I am.
So that's people is you?
I speak on
I
behalf
don't
of the
find him to
people.
be a snob
Shut
because
up,
we watch
Tim.
a lot of the same
Oh,
shows.
that's weird,
Yeah.
Tim. Your mic's not working anymore. That's
See,
strange.
that's very, very
Oh, I'm sorry, the
childish
whole
antics
screen
here.
just went down.
Oh.
Oh.
Anyways.
All right, you're going to be throwing out insults. Just give me your damn rankings for your DCEU movies.
I don't think I have anything else.
I'm
other
done
than
with this
that.
podcast.
Oh, are you? Podcast is over. Okay, if I was giving my DCEU rankings or Worlds of DC, whatever, Shazam, number 1. Wonder Woman, number 2. I have Aquaman as number 3. Justice League as 4. Man of Steel as 5. Batman vs. Superman as 6. Suicide Squad as number 7. And before Wes gives his rankings, those are the movies that I rank them in terms of enjoyment. And I like all of them except for Suicide Squad, which I will say is better upon second viewing, if you can muster yourself to try that.
No, that's a awful recommendation. Don't do
I'm
that.
just telling you, it's definitely better the second time.
No,
When
there's
you-
no storyline.
When you know what it is, like when you understand going in, the expectations are gone. It's like, well, this actually isn't
I feel like
that
if
much trash.
the movie is like it's so bad that you can laugh at it. I feel like that's it. But anyway, Shazam, Justice League, Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Suicide Squad.
Your disrespect for Wonder Woman
It's 5.
is sickening.
This is a top 5 DCU movie.
Shut up. It's sickening.
It's a top 5 DCU movie.
That's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
It is. I love that movie. I really do. I love the action in that movie. I know it's not like a ton as much as this movie, but actually, that's another thing. This has a decent amount of action.
It's a good amount
too.
of action.
And it's various types of action too. You get the just pounded on the criminals, and then you get the scene you were talking about where he's trying out the superpowers. And
Right,
everything.
yeah.
I think it was. I think far and away, this is the #1 DC movie. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, no question, no question. And then, like I said, and there's a lot of jockeying positions for 2, 3, and 4 in my eyes. Like you said about Suicide Squad, I thought BVS got better. There's more. I found things I liked about it on second and third watch. I could sit through that movie.
I saw that so much later than everybody else. That first time I saw it, I was like, why does everybody hate this movie? I get some of the points.
Because the expectations were through the roof.
I didn't see, the thing is, at the time, I was so down on DC in general. I hadn't been reading the DC books.
Well, yeah, but this is coming off of Man of Steel and then the Dark Knight series. Like, this was pretty big. This was the reintroduction
I
of
thought
Batman.
Man of Steel was terrible.
I liked Man of Steel. I thought that was good.
See, I feel like Superman.
And I'm not a Kevin Costner guy, as we mentioned last week.
That's very true. But I feel like anytime I see Superman, it's like, this is gonna suck. I feel like you can't translate that character now as just a good guy because he's just boring.
Smallville was good.
I never watched.
That was a good show. I watched that with my mom. It was a nice family viewing program.
Oh, you
Parts
did?
of Smallville that
That's
weren't
sweet.
great. I mean, it kind of went off the rails, especially in the later
Sure.
seasons. But the portrayal of Clark Kent and his journey to become Superman,
Tom
was
Welling,
awesome.
Yeah, Tom Welling was great. And who was the Lex Luthor? That's my Lex Luthor.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yes,
Fantastic.
very good.
Also a
Lex
great
Luthor.
Instagram follow.
Oh yeah, is he?
Yeah, he has his own podcast and always some fun behind the scenes stuff.
I've listened to his podcast stuff when he has the It's Always Sunny guys on. So of course he's good friends with them. I believe Rob McElhaney lived on his couch when he first came out to like New York City or something like that. But let's get to 2 versus 1 here.
2v1.
A very exciting 2 versus 1.
I gotta get the tweets out. So this past week's 2v1 was a battle of the furry friends. This week we have Pikachu, obviously of Pokemon Descent or whatever. Fame. Thank you. Fame. We have Chewbacca, who needs no further introduction, and Beast Boy of Teen Titans. Now, when you think of Beast Boy, I know I was first introduced to him by like Teen Titans Go, the Cartoon Network original show. There's actually the Teen Titans before Teen Titans Go, because I think there was one prior to the one that we see now, which is totally goofy.
Sure.
New Teen Titans, right? Was that
Maybe
the cartoon.
I don't know, but it was definitely, the animation was a little different. It was a little less goofy. But when I think of that, there's a much more intimidating Beast Boy than that one. That one's total goofball, goober. I mean, he always is a goober, I guess, but not to that extent.
Okay.
Should we read off the tweets first, Wes?
Yeah, you got a couple there. Fire them off.
Okay.
They're ready.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Well, I got it pulled up unless you got to pull it up.
No, I got some. Go ahead. You go first.
All right, so let's start with David at David F. the writer. Chewbacca protect. Try that again. Chewbacca protect because Chewbacca.
Okay.
Then we have Pokemac at Fleetwood J Mac.
Of the Mac and Goo podcast.
Of course. I'm going Pikachu because I feel like Lightning Bolt would be super effective against Beast Boy and Chewie. Plus, Pikachu could just hang out on my shoulder or something.
Then we have Rogan at RPO_617. This is in reference to Mac's tweet. Strong agree. Thunderbolt is one of the most OP moves in the Pokemon world, which overpowering. He would zap the S out of them. Also, as you said, Pika is just a chill little friend too.
Okay. All right. We got Scott Bowman at Scotticus Max. This is Chewie protect all day, even if he can't deliver the beatdown with his Wookiee fists. Chewbacca has all that sweet Star Wars text and know how to use it properly.
I'm a bear lever at Barry's82. Simply, I choose Chewie with a Chewbacca gif.
Yes, I love that. We have Bowie Buddha, Gar Beast Boy, because he could transform into a shiny Pikachu. That's a nice little note there.
You just read Scott Bowman. Did you read Deborah?
No, I did not. That's my last one. Yeah.
Deborah the Pandora at Deb Perry 1961. Chewbacca as my protector, because the thought of him hunting me is just something just not something I can deal with. He is ancient, wise, and the Force is strong with him. I don't think there would be a battle with the other two. Everyone else would be all Doom Patrol rocks, Pika Pika.
Okay, that's a very involved message from Deborah. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Oh, and then we have the Amalgam Show? The Amalgam Show, yes, at the Amalgam Show. 3 comments from Nate, Dean, and Chiron, who I'm assuming are the hosts of that show.
Okay.
From Chiron, Beast Boy to protect. From Nate, Beast Boy. And then Dean, Beast Boy. Why? Because Chewbacca is slow. Detective Pikachu, which I use the Detective Pikachu picture, but that's just because of the movie.
Right, or it's most recent.
Detective Pikachu doesn't have lightning, and Beast Boy will be able to turn into all of them anyway. Then the emoji with the tongue sticking out. And
okay.
I think that wraps up.
Thanks for the description of that. That emoji really put the stamp on that tweet there.
Well,
the only way it would be better if he reenacted it.
Right. There we go. Now we got it.
Again, why you should watch us and not just listen to us.
You get the sweet tongue action of Nick Fryer there.
So, Wes, do you want to lead things off first, or should we go to Tim? Or
let's go to Tim. Let's go to Tim here. Let's start over to Tim.
Chewbacca, Pikachu, or Beast Boy? 2 will try to kill you. 1 will try to protect you.
And I want Chewbacca to protect me.
Okay. Why?
Because the one thing that I think is overshadowed in some of people's selections, the loyalty of Chewbacca.
Absolutely.
The loyalty of Chewbacca is
he could have
way
left
more.
Han Solo very early on.
Yes, he is somebody that when he gets involved with you, if he chooses to stay your friend, he is your friend
He's
until
a
the
Wookiee
end.
for life.
He will throw himself in front of that blaster shot for you, or that thunderbolt, whatever it is that he has to do. He will do that. I feel like Pikachu's only there because you captured him and basically you enslaved him.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Yeah. That is like modern slave trading.
It really is.
It's kind of what
like
it
they
is.
act like they're friends,
Right.
but like when they're done, they're like, get back in the ball.
Right.
It's not like they're actually like, hey,
stay woke over here.
Yeah, go enjoy yourself in the Pokey Park. No, get back in the goddamn ball.
I think they're more like a pet. Just saying. In West
Do you keep I don't keep my pet in a ball.
No, you keep them in your house.
Yeah, in the house. He has the
My
reign
dog
of
has
the
a
house.
bed.
Well, actually, if you think about Pikachu,
And a
he's
food
usually
dish.
out hanging out with Ash all the time.
Well, when you see him.
And same thing in Detective Pikachu, too.
When you see him. Well, we haven't seen Detective Pikachu. That could be something completely different.
Yeah, but I think their whole thing is that the Pokemon live amongst the people. They're not in Pokeballs.
And then why do you think they went away from the Pokeballs, Nick?
I don't know.
Slavery.
Right. That's why. Nick,
right,
would you like to go?
No, I was gonna have you go, Wes.
Oh well, I'm riding the coattails of Tim Weisberg over here, Tim Fryer, and yeah, it's all molding into one person. I'm going with Chewbacca because very much loyal. He's got a really mean shot because he's probably the best in hand-to-hand combat.
Yes.
He's the most physical. He's the most intimidating. I know Beast Boy can do whatever he wants apparently, but he's also got a really good shot with the gun. He's got that really badass gun. What movie is that?
The crossbow.
The crossbow. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so he's got a really good shot with that.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go from distance too. And it'd be fun to hang. Who would want to hang out with Chewie?
Well, someone who probably can't understand
and he plays that space chess.
I think you can. But I think it's all body language. 90% of all communication is nonverbal.
Right. Of course. Yes. And there's nothing.
No, that's true.
No, I know it's true. But. Anyways,
Han understands everything he says.
When because he can speak. Was it Wookiee?
I think most people kind of do.
Oh sure, yeah, and I
think most people get the gist of what Chewbacca is saying.
And I can speak Finnish too. Yeah, 100%, absolutely, totally get it. So when I made these, because again, this is another one of my babies. When I made this idea, or came up with this one and proposed it to you guys. We had another option, which we will maybe try some other day.
Sure.
But you were like, this is the right one. At the same time, I feel like this is a no-brainer answer. Those are pretty much your words exactly, right?
Because I didn't know enough about Beast Boy.
Okay. Still, the disrespect for Pikachu is unreal.
It's a Japanimated ferret.
Beast Boy, obviously, now upon further review, you understand how powerful that character can be.
Yeah.
Okay, and he can put up a fight against anybody. I think this is actually a much more even match than people realize because Pikachu has the speed over all three of them, and he has the range over them as well. And the electrical abilities, that's what sets him apart. I mean, and that's where the range kind of comes in. That's why I'm picking him, because he can sneak around. You can hide him somewhere. So you got, Chewbacca coming in at one corner, and then Beast Boy's coming in from the top rope. You like that? What I did there? I brought in another wrestling thing just to
don't just let it drop.
I'm not gonna
just let it go.
I'm letting him come over to my side. I'm going to keep encouraging this.
You don't even he doesn't even know. Like, he thought he was watching WrestleMania today. It was Monday Night Raw.
I will teach him.
I have a reason to like it now. Anyways, but my point is that Pikachu can be hidden in the bushes, and then boom, they're both done. They're toast, and you're all set, and you guys just walk away. And
but if he's hiding in the bushes and you're like in the middle of an open field and you got Beast Boy and Chewie coming at you, what's Pikachu going to do?
Well,
how fast is he?
Then he gets the Thunderbolt. If he wouldn't be hiding in the bushes, then if you're out in the open field, he'd be right nearby.
But you said he was hiding.
I'm saying he could be hiding in the bushes.
I was taking your scenario that you presented.
But then why would you be in an open field and have the person that's going to defend you away from you?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Well, you altered my hypothetical situation.
I don't know.
You didn't allow me to finish it. Really, think about it.
I'm just allowing.
Nick needs to go back and watch that movie from a few years ago, Birth of a Nation. When the slaves turn on the masters.
Oh, jeez.
You're gonna get a lightning bolt up your ass from Pikachu.
No, Pikachu.
Just don't keep him in the Pokeball.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If Pikachu sounds like Ryan Reynolds, I'll be the one in the Pokeball. I don't give a damn. I am so in on that movie. I am most excited about, because I'm big on like the solo type character movies.
Sure.
I'm so obviously in on Avengers. My number 2 movie for 2019 though is 100% Detective Pikachu over Shazam, over Captain Marvel, over the next Spider-Man with Far From Home. 100% this movie.
Last thing on Shazam, I forgot to mention something. It's already in the works for a sequel.
Is it?
Yes.
Good. It should be. 100%.
Yeah.
So Wes, what else has been on your mind?
Game of Thrones, baby.
Ooh.
The only thing that's not been on my mind other than Avengers Infinity War, or the only thing that's been on my mind other than Avengers Infinity War.
Okay, that made more sense.
So yeah, that's starting this weekend. And according to oddshark.com, these are the odds to set on the Iron Throne. So these are just the top 5. They had like about 15 or 20. So I want you guys to pick the top 5 for me here. Bran Stark is with the best odds at plus 220. Jon Snow at plus 350. Sansa Stark at plus 500. Daenerys Targaryen plus 700. And Gendry, plus 700.
I've been really going back and forth on this, and I still think it's got to be...
I think the Night King was a plus 1,000. I think that was the next one.
I still think it's got to be... I'm flip-flopping between Jon Snow and Daenerys.
Oh, wow.
And
really going out on a limb there, huh?
I mean, I'm trying to make the right decision, Wes, is what it comes down to. It's not about, the shock factor. It's about being accurate.
Did you pick all chalk in the Final Four, all 1 seeds?
I didn't do a bracket this year. I'm so anti the NCAA tournament when it comes to that stuff. I just find it boring. It's baseball season. I want to watch baseball. I don't give a damn about college basketball.
Because we all know how important April baseball is.
It's an entertaining. I find it to be an entertaining product, and I'll tell you what. I'd rather watch April baseball than November football. 100%.
Well, you are in the vast minority on that one, my friend.
I'd rather watch fine with being in the vast minority.
And the 70-year-old on his porch sipping on iced tea, listening to it on his transistor radio.
That's fine. I'll be totally fine on my own.
I'd rather watch April baseball than Game of Thrones. So.
Oh, really? Are you in the minority?
Oh, that's
right. No, I'm not a fan.
You don't watch Thrones.
I do not.
Yeah, but you don't
Tim,
like Lord of the Rings.
I think so much less of you.
You are so strange.
I watched the entire first season. When season 2 came out, I said, "Meh, I'm good."
Does Game of Thrones have ghosts? I mean, it has White Walkers.
Yeah, it's ghosts.
There's definitely paranormal aspects to it.
Right?
But
Yeah.
I'm more than just paranormal, Nick.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, we haven't
just
done
because that's what I'm known for. It doesn't mean that's all that I'm about.
Oh, well, this is awkward.
You're more than baseball, Nick.
Yeah, of course I am. But I mean, I just thought that you just were the faceless.
Who's a snob now?
I'm a well-rounded person.
I'm not a snob at all.
That was a very snobbish
This is
comment.
exactly how Tim deserves to be treated, like a subhuman.
Wow, Tim. I see a single Indian tear forming on your left eyelid right now.
That'd be funny if you could do that. Of course, Tim's more than that. Everybody, I'm not. I don't.
That's so mean.
He knows I'm more than. We've talked about so many things.
Yes, of course. Come on,
right? Like Gilbert Godfrey.
Honestly, if I was that would be one of the things I would say defines you.
You guys need to get tickets to that show and come with me, and you will change your mind. You will You
There
would
you
be
go.
sold.
But no, change your mind. That's fine. Tim, if I was to describe you, it would be paranormal. It would be writing, and it would be Gilbert Gottfried, like in 3 terms or whatever. If it was 3 terms.
Gilbert Gottfried's a little bit lower on my totem pole.
Yeah, I mean the amount of times we've talked about it, you and I, it's that would be up towards the top of my list. Anyways,
You need to listen to the podcast.
all right,
Yeah.
all right, Wes. If I'm to pick one, gun to my head,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be Daenerys, who's sitting on the throne,
Okay.
because Jon Snow doesn't want it, and he's even though he's the rightful heir.
I'm a big believer in Bran Stark. He's the odds-on favorite right now. I am going chalk, but I think
He just gave me
I
crap.
know. Right? It's funny how that can
Such
do
a
that, right?
hypocrite.
That's a good little move right there. But I think he plays a very big role this year. He's always been my favorite character.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's
loved
been-
his whole storyline. Loved his whole storyline. Three-eyed raven, all that stuff.
Bran Stark.
Yeah,
Is
this
he-
is very mysterious.
Is he the one that fell out of a window, got pushed out of a window?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of his uncle Tony, but that's just me.
His Uncle Tony.
Tony Stark.
Oh yeah. That really blew my mind when I heard that the other day. I was
Right?
like, wow. Yeah. Your dear old Uncle. I thought you was making a heavyweights joke. You got Father Sky, Mother Earth, and your dear old Uncle Tony.
Jon Snow's been actually. I liked Robb Stark a ton.
Sure.
Well, I got into the show because Sean Bean, Ned Stark. I mean, you get a guy from Lord of the Rings who's a good actor. I'm all
Sure.
in, and then he dies, and I was like,
Well, spoiler warning.
seriously,
It's
come on.
10 years later.
When I saw that, I was like, well, I mean, am I going to watch this show anymore? Because I watched it from the very beginning.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's just like,
I think that was the moment where I said I'm out. I think it was because of that.
really?
Yep.
I can understand that. It was
Anyone can go. I
valid.
like that. That just gave me hard nips.
I mean, there were other characters that I fell in love with along
Yeah.
the way. Robb Stark, but then see ya, and then
Yeah, it's all the ones you love,
Yep,
pretty much.
except for Jon Snow, he somehow has stayed alive.
Yeah, I'm not a big John. He's a little overrated. Oh wow. What? Just tell me what you're watching.
Well, is there anything-
Don't drop the Bee Gees act.
Is there anything else that's been on your
No,
mind?
that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. So I don't know how long this has been out for, but it came up in our chat on Geeks Worldwide. A new Hellboy double feature that I did see actually the next day at Walmart. It's only like $5, guys. It's a couple animated movies. The first one is titled Blood and Iron, and the other one is Sword of Storms, which I haven't finished that second one yet. But the first one, I really enjoyed it. Keep your eye out for a review at thegww.com. I mean, if it's $5, honestly, at $5, it is a steal, even for just one of those flicks alone. Each of them is like an hour 15. You just pop it in, and then you get some sweet. The first one, I can guarantee, has a decent amount of action. I would say the last 20 minutes are just fighting. I was like, wow, this is gonna keep going with the fighting, and just you're really committing to it. But
Okay. All right.
and I would say, should we have so we obviously have a bunch of little different segments in the course of this, West, going back to the Game of Thrones thing.
Right.
Should we, I mean, we're not going to review every episode full-fledged like we do with these movies.
I think we'll mention it every week, though.
Should we have should that be in our news, or should that be devoted to, should we have a separate
that's a
segment
good
devoted
question.
to that?
Let's see how this one plays out.
Okay. Because we're going
And
to have
then-
6 episodes.
Right.
And
That's 6 weeks worth of content, and then obviously we're gonna have Avengers Endgame coming around.
Yep. And there'll be, I'm trying to think, what other movies are coming out this month?
Yeah, there'll be things.
I feel
There'll
like
be
there's
things coming out.
But anyways, yeah, okay. So we'll see where things go. We're definitely gonna be talking about it every week, guaranteed to some extent.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I've been, balls deep in YouTube theories and looking back on, houses and the histories of the houses and where everything's can go. I'm looking for all these little clues.
Yeah,
Like who's old Nan? That's what I want to know. Who's old Nan? Why does she know everything? Bring back old Nan.
should we? You know what? We should have. No, well, Shazam came out this week. There's nothing we could do about it. I was gonna say we should go through some like theories of what's gonna happen in Game of Thrones, but starting next week. So.
Right. So yeah, it'll be all kind of.
I think by like how Walking Dead didn't it ended 2 weeks before Thrones. It's like we don't want to mess with you guys. Like we're gonna.
No, they
stay
know they're
clear.
bowing to the king.
Here's a take for you.
Okay.
The only show right now that could compete with Game of Thrones if it was on at the same time, and I call it a show, but it's a loose term, Sunday Night Football. Nothing else could compete with that right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not even remotely
That's a good
close.
point.
It's the only one, and it could.
I would imagine that I think it has gone up, or there's been some overlap. It airs on Sundays at 9:00.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the last 7 years.
right. Right.
So that probably has. I'd be interested to look up seeing what those numbers were like and how many they cut into one another.
They don't. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I think it was a fall show, if I remember.
Right.
I think
It wasn't always a spring show. Like it depends on whenever they were ready, they would get it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember when it was a fall show.
I think it became a spring show when Westworld started.
Maybe.
Because Westworld became... Although I think Westworld was a summer show the first season.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one show that I watched one season of. Was like, okay,
well, Boardwalk Empire was always a fall show.
Yeah.
So
I tried to watch that and I couldn't get into it. But anyways.
It's a good one.
Wes, where can the people find us?
Well, they can find us on Twitter, at Fry__guy1 or at Wesley Sykes _ or at the Change My Mind Pod. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere else that you can listen to your podcasts, as well as the Geeks Worldwide page, which has their iTunes and SoundCloud and all that good stuff. All of our archives, all of our video archives, I believe, are up there as well.
We put everything there. That always goes up on Wednesday in case you guys miss everything that comes out on Tuesday.
Yes.
And, of course, you can only watch us, although we put the videos there as well, but you watch us on...
Live. On WBSM 1420, New Bedford, Fairhaven.
Ooh, look at you.
Wow, I'm getting there.
You're getting
I'm just kind of look over your shoulder there at the flag.
That's all I'm
trying to do.
I thought you were just starting to feel a little delicious.
No.
But next week, TBD, right?
That's my favorite episode.
We always come up with our best ideas then.
That's it. Till then, thanks very much.